I have embarked on a kind of crazy journey to do a different self-improvement challenge every month for an entire year. Now, I'm not new to self-improvement. I've sat for morning meditations, tracked my daily tasks using a bullet journal, completely removed sugar from my diet. Okay, so I may have lied about the last one. But I've been itching to do something bigger, focus more on results and less on process. Which brings me to this thing, a custom turntable station built with my own two hands. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's jump back to the beginning of this month. My year of monthly self-improvement challenges kicks off today. I already know the hardest part is going to be pushing through that feeling of inadequacy that I get when I'm a novice at something. Ira Glass, one of my favorite podcasters, refers to this feeling as the gap.
All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But it's like there's a gap. What you're making isn't so good. It's trying to be good. It has ambition to be good, but it's not quite that good. But your taste is still killer. You can tell that what you're making is kind of a disappointment to you. A lot of people never get past that phase. A lot of people at that point, they quit.
I've fallen victim to the gap more times than I care to admit. Be it a hobby I've been too intimidated by to pick up, or a bad habit that I've been unable to break. That is what this is all about. Each month for the next year, I'll attempt a personal challenge. I'll set a specific goal, a gap that I want to fill, and commit my time, energy, and money to achieving it. I'll document the entire thing and post a monthly recap video here on YouTube. Let me head back home and I'll tell you what challenge I'm kicking this all off with. So for my first month, actually, let me go grab some stuff first. Recently moved into a new place and there's not really a good spot to put any of this turntable equipment I've collected over the years. It got me thinking, maybe I should build a turntable station to house everything. I've been wanting to get into woodworking for a while now, but I know next to nothing about building furniture. The gap here is really quite wide. Thankfully, Ira tells me exactly what I need to do to bridge it.
The most important possible thing you could do is do a lot of work. It's only by actually going through a volume of work that you're going to catch up and close that gap. And the work you're making will be as good as your ambitions.
To get through my own volume of work, I signed up for an online woodworking course, which promised to take me from noob to intermediate woodworker by building 7 projects in as many weekends. The course came with its own tool list, which I used to turn my garage into a woodworking shop. Now, unless you have some innate, untapped talent for your new hobby, when you first get started, you're probably going to suck. And I sucked at woodworking. I'm at Home Depot buying materials for my first project, and honestly, I legitimately have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know where anything is in the store. I think I may be here for a while. I hadn't even cut my first board yet, and I was already feeling overwhelmed. But I pushed through the self-doubt, bought the materials I needed, and got to work on the course's first project. A mobile workbench to store my tools and provide a nice flat surface for the remaining builds. Unfortunately, it wasn't very long before the gap made itself known again. My miter saw comes with laser light. Unfortunately, it's not exactly square. I am trying to adjust this, but it's pretty finicky. This piece right here doesn't quite fit. There is quite a bit of gap on there. None of the 4 sides are flush. And as you can tell, not the right size. It's a bit wobbly. See, like here, this is just not good. So, not perfect. That was an understatement, but I kept with it. And after a couple days, I got more comfortable with my tools. 30 inches. Woo! I realized a lot of my mistakes were fixable, and I cobbled together my first woodworking project. It surely was not perfect, but I felt proud as hell. I still had a long way to go. I needed to compress a 7-week course into half that time, plus leave room to actually build the turntable station. So, I got busy building up my volume of work. look like I knew what I was doing, but I continued to make a litany of mistakes. Boards don't quite fit in. I got 10-foot boards this time, so we're getting a little creative, and we're gonna be out the front window. As you can see, some of it has been spray painted, but I ran out of spray paint. Today was a rough day. I'm feeling a bit demoralized at the moment. I glued this on the wrong side. I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna fix it. Kind of sucks. So about 2.5 hours later, I'm back where I was with that glue up. Despite frequent missteps, I finished one project after another as the month progressed. The basic mobile workbench. The California casual patio side table. The Harmony garden bench. The extra fancy office paper tray with matching monogrammed paperweight. The Sonoma Vineyard coffee table. The parlor bookshelf. The Catalina wall cabinet. Okay, that last thing, it's actually just a blurred out trash can. But in my defense, I didn't need a wall cabinet and the month was almost over. I had to start designing the turntable station. With a clean, minimal design in hand, I used my table saw to cut down the bottom and 2 side panels out of MDF. I was feeling so confident from my previous builds that I made a last-minute decision to use a new joinery technique. Unfortunately for me, the joints ended up not perfect. After a few modification cuts I was too embarrassed by to film, my joints were workable and it was time to glue up the base. I then cut the top and center panels to size. My design called for an angled center panel, which turned out to be a solid test for both my newfound woodworking skills and my surprisingly rusty geometry knowledge. Satisfied with the angled joint, I glued up the remaining pieces and smoothed everything out using my orbital sander. I took the turntable station outside for finishing, although I quickly realized my initial spray painting setup could be improved upon. It was only my second time using spray paint, and I put on a bunch of coats before I was happy with the result. All that was left was to screw in the legs I bought on some niche website you probably never heard of, and there it was, a modern turntable station that was a statement piece for me in more ways than one. It was the culmination of my month-long volume of work, and it was evidence I had, to at least some degree, bridged this first gap. Now, at this point, I have to show you the thing in action. Finishing this turntable station gives me a lot of confidence for this project. I'll take Ira's words with me into future monthly challenges, and you should do the same with whatever creative gaps you're trying to bridge. One last thing before I go. This channel is a brand new experiment for me. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe below so that you'll get notified when I release new videos. If you want more frequent insider content on these monthly challenges as they're happening, you can follow me on Instagram right here. I'll see you back here next month for another monthly challenge.